Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the news podcast on TayNinhTV with some last events now private as well as the voice. And now we come into details. Ladies and gentlemen, on the afternoon of June the 18th of 2025, the Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính chaired the National Online Conference to Organization of the 2025 High School Graduation Exam. Entertaining connecting point, there were Secretary Provincial Party Committee Nguyễn Mạnh Hùng and Permanent Vice Chairman of Provincial People's Committee Đoàn Trung Kiên chaired the conference. The 2025 High School Graduation Exam nationwide has more than 1.1 million candidates with nearly 2,500 testing locations. It is expected that about 200,000 personnel will participate in the organization of the exam, such as officials, teachers in the education sector, the police, military, medical, electricity, etc. Up to this point, the preparation for the 2025 high school graduation exam has been actively, proactively, thoroughly, early, and remotely carried out by the Ministry of Education and Training and localities. Up to now, all the software systems have been operating well and put into use according to the exam organization schedule. Speaking at the conference, the Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính stated that the political system from the central to local levels, schools, families, and the whole society need to promote the highest sense of responsibility, anonymity, and determination to best organize the 2025 high school graduation exam, ensuring the safety, seriousness, fairness, objectivity, and achieving the set goals. And on the afternoon of June the 19th, the Standing Committee of Provincial Party Committee held a conference to announce the decision to merge TayNinhTV newspaper and TayNinhTV radio and television station. Attending the conference, there were head of Provincial Party Committee's Organization Commission and chairman of the Vietnam Finland Front Committee of the province, Võ Đức Trong, head of Provincial Party Committee's Propaganda and Mass Mobilization Commission, Nguyễn Thị Xuân Hương. At the conference, the deputy head of Provincial Party Committee's Organization Commission, Lê Anh Tuấn, announced decision number 7,565 during the night of 2025 of the Provincial Party Committee's Executive Committee on merging TayNinhTV newspaper and TayNinhTV radio and television station into TayNinhTV newspaper and radio and television station from June the 20th of 2025. TayNinhTV newspaper and radio and television station is a public service unit under the TayNinhTV Provincial Party Committee and under the leadership of the Provincial Party Committee Executive Committee, directly and regularly led by the Provincial Party Committee Standing Committee and Provincial Party Committee Standing Committee in the work of propagating the policy, guidelines and policies, the state and local laws and policies. The Standing Committee of the Provincial Party Committee also decided to appoint Mr. Võ Văn Quý, Deputy Director of the Radio and Television Station, Mr. Dương Nguyễn Hoàng Anh, and Mr. Đặng Hoàng Thái, Deputy Editor-in-Chief of the newspaper, to hold the position of Deputy Editor-in-Chief of the newspaper and Radio and Television Station. The term of office is 5 years and starting from June 20th of 2025. Mr. Võ Văn Quý was also assigned by the Provincial Party Committee Standing Committee to be in charge of the newspaper and radio and television station from June 10th of 2025 until a decision is made on the personnel of the editor-in-chief of the newspaper and radio and television station. Also at the conference, the head of Provincial Party Committee's Propaganda and Mass Mobilization Commission, Nguyễn Thị Xuân Hương, presented the decision of Provincial Party Committee Standing Committee and the chairman of Provincial People's Committee on the early retirement according to Decree number 178 till December 31st of 2004 and Decree number 67 till March 15th of 2025 of the government to Ms. Trần Thị Mỹ Linh, Editor-in-Chief of the newspaper from June 20th of 2025, and Mr. Vũ Xuân Trường, Director of the radio and television station from July 1st of 2025. I request the leaders of the newspaper and the radio and television station, the staff, employees of the unit to soon stabilize the organizational structure, continue operation, and not affect the political tasks of the unit. At the same time, proactively prepare work contents to merge with the newspaper and Long An radio and television station according to the project to merge the TayNinhTV Provincial Party Committee and Long An Provincial Party Committee. Mr. Võ Đức Trong also acknowledged the contribution of TayNinhTV newspaper editor-in-chief Trần Thị Mỹ Linh Television and TayNinhTV Radio and Television Station Director Vũ Xuân Trường, and at the same time requested that they continue to monitor, give commands, and accompany the development of the locality and contribute to the party building and local government building. On the occasion of the 100th anniversary of Vietnam Revolutionary Press Day, Mr. Vũ Đức Tông also sent his best wishes to reporters, editors, officials, and workers of TayNinhTV newspaper and radio and television station. And on the morning of June 19, at the TayNinhTV Radio and Television Theatre, the TayNinhTV Journalists Association held the opening of the exhibition for 100 years of Vietnam Revolutionary Press, June the 21st. Attending the event, there was Mr. Vũ Xuân Trường, Chairman of TayNinhTV Journalists Association, Director of TayNinhTV Radio and Television Station.
Along with representatives of departments, rangers, armed forces, and many members and reporters of press agencies in the province, with the theme 100 Years of Vietnam Revolutionary Press, TayNinhTV Press confidently enters the new era. The exhibition introduced more than 180 valuable images, documents, and publications, vividly recreating the process of formation and development of Vietnam Revolutionary Press in general and TayNinhTV Provincial Press in particular, thereby depicting the pioneering role of the press, promptly reflecting current events, people's life, and accompanying the cause of developing the homeland and the country. The exhibition also displays many images recording the working process, operations, and silent contributions of the team of reporters, editors, cameramen, technicians on the information range.
And on June 19, Division 5 organized a meeting with collaborators, management staff, and press staff in the division to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Vietnam Revolutionary Press Day, June 21st of 1925 and June 21st of 2025. Speaking at the meeting, Lieutenant Colonel Lê Đức Nhân, Deputy Political Commissioner of Division, acknowledged and highly appreciated the result achieved in the coordination of propaganda work of the division's collaborators. The Deputy Political Commissioner of Division 5 praised the positive contributions of the comprised collaborators and associates and units in the division, affirming that it is a reliable forum for officials and soldiers in the division transmitting the military science and technology information, promptly praising typical advanced collectives and individuals in performing the training tasks and combat readiness. And through historical periods, the revolutionary journalism in TayNinhTV province has accompanied the development of the homeland. Each generation of journalists has its own role, but together they contribute an honest and responsible voice to the people and to the times. Among the group of people who led the first foundation for the revolutionary journalism in TayNinhTV province, Mr. Nguyễn Văn Thọ is one of the witnesses who still remains vivid memories of that special period when read the printed page, its written line cast a part of flesh and blood and belief in the day of victory. The history of TayNinhTV Press, radio, and television in the early days was actually a newspaper, but in fact, it did not print a regular newspaper like today. At that time, it was just printing leaflets and small documents, and I also participated in that field. There was a wooden mold, then a butterfly plate that was waxed to make the holes in the paper, then stuck there to print and pull up the ink. The content of those sheets were against the policies of the Saigon puppet government. And when recalling the early days of journalism, Mr. Thor could not hide his emotion. For that generation, writing for newspapers was not only a propaganda task, but also an act of dedication between the boundary of life and death. And each piece of news were passed through forest secret pages with uncompromising spirit. It was also a time when the press was no longer a mere communication tool, but has become a revolutionary weapon. Today's press has a new look, speed, technology, and many platforms, and reporters not only work on the scene but also have to master the cameras, film editing, script writing, and social networks. But beyond tools and techniques, the core is still the professional spirit, the spirit of revolutionary journalism. Continued by the relentless step into remote areas, hotspots, where honest and timely voices are needed. When doing visual journalism, I get to meet and interact with many people, listen to their stories, and from there, I convey through my own language the messages people want to send. A century has passed since the birth of the revolutionary journalism. In Taynin province, there are people who have gone through difficult years with their pens and tireless dedication. And today, young people continue to write that story on a new journey with the new means, but with the same ideals, serving the fatherland, serving the people. And on the morning of June 19 at the Taynin City Party Committee Hall, the Party Committee of the Department of Culture, Sports and Tourism held the official section of the four-party conference term of 2025 to 2030. The conference was attended by 115 party members from 7 party cells under the Department Party Committee. The conference was attended by 115 party members from 7 party cells under the Department of Party Committee. In the 2020 to 2025 term, the party building work has focused on with 100% of party members completing their annual tasks well and excellently. Notably, 30 new party members were admitted during the entire term, exceeding the resolution's target by 150%. The field of culture, sports and tourism achieved many outstanding results. In the whole province, organized more than 1,350 competitions and mass art festival, creating a useful playground for the people. Tourism in 2025 attracts millions of visitors, of which the Padang Mountain National Tourist Area continues to be a prominent destination. In the fields of sports, the whole province won a total of 923 medals, including 12 international medals, demonstrating the steady progress of the sports in domestic and also foreign arenas. At the conference, delegates listened to, discussed, presented and voted to pass important documents such as political report, review report of the Executive Committee for the 2020 and 2025 term, the report synthesizing comments on the draft documents of the higher levels.
On the morning of June 19, Taynin City Military Command held a conference to review military and defense tasks in the first segments of 2025 and deploy direction centers in the coming time. In the past time, the Party Committee Military Command of City completed 100% of the military assignment targets at both levels and organization. The reception of 194 soldiers who completed their military service and returned to their localities in the durable, safe and economical manner. The city also organized 7 propaganda and career guidance sessions for military recruitment for nearly 1,000 high school students, organizing training, coaching, competitions and sports events to ensure the number of jobs and fully participating in the competitions organized by superiors. The military science initiative movement in the city's armed forces continue to be maintained and promoted effectively. At the conference, delegates focused on discussing and proposing solutions to solve the handover of documents, facilities, weapons, and support tools according to the policy of building a two-level local government.
And after a century of formation and development from the first revolutionary newspaper, TayNinhTV newspaper, founded by the leader Nguyễn Ái Quốc on June 21st of 1925, today the Vietnamese revolutionary journalism has become a strong mainstream with a particularly important position and role in the political and the social life, being a voice of the party, the state, and the political and social organizations and a forum for the people. The Vietnamese revolutionary journalism has left the bright marks in its 100-year history of construction and development.
A century is a long enough time to affirm the good nature of Vietnamese revolutionary journalism, which is to serve the revolutionary goals closely linked to the interests of the nation, the country, and the people, under the leadership of the Communist Party of Vietnam. After the country's reunification, especially in the process of innovation and international integration, the Vietnamese Revolutionary Press continued to affirm its pioneering role, accompanying the nation. The press is the main information channel to propagate and disseminate the party's and state guidelines and policies to all classes of people, creating social consensus, becoming a broad forum for people to express their opinions, aspirations, and recommendations to the party and state. Arrests cannot be separated from the leadership of the party. Instead, the purpose of the arrest is still to propagate, orient the party's policies and guidelines, launch patriotic emulation movements to discover typical and positive factors, raise awareness examples and exemplary collectors and individuals. Besides, we also fight against the wrong views of hostile forces, as well as against betting and vice, which makes our society increasingly cleaner and healthier. The rest always accompanies the party, the nation, and all classes of people to bring our country to develop and enter a new era full of hope. In the context of deep integration, the domestic race has actually contributed to promoting the image of the country and Vietnamese people to the world, while providing information about the international situation, helping people understand the world better. More importantly, the revolutionary race has always been a sub-spearhead in the struggle on the cultural and ideological front, promptly defeating the distorted and destructive arguments of hostile forces. Throughout the past 100 years, it has been serving readers, serving the fatherland, serving the people. Since our country has not yet gained independence until today, the role of the Vietnamese revolutionary race has been affirmed, and we see it in the new stage of digital transformation. The Vietnamese race is increasingly innovating to retain its audience, listeners, and readers, thereby conveying official information of the party and the state to the public. If we do not change or renew ourselves, it will be very difficult for us to retain our audience. And with press agencies such as television, we must innovate even more. Currently, in the context of the party and the state focusing on innovation, streamlining the apparatus, efficiency, effectiveness, the press nationwide in general and the press of the province in particular have been promoting information and propaganda, contributing to creating high unity in awareness and action within the entire party and the entire political system. In implementing the summary of Resolution number 18 of the 12-party Central Committee, some issues are continuing to innovate and streamline the apparatus of political system operating effectively and efficiently. Entering a new era of development, the era of national rule, the Vietnamese revolutionary race in general, and the rest of the province in particular, will continue to be the bridge between the party and the people. The voice of the people, the pioneer in propaganda, orienting public opinion and spreading good values, contributing to building the homeland and the country increasingly rich, beautiful, and civilized.
And on June 18, the Ministry of Home Affairs coordinated with the Ministry of Finance to organize the Vietnam-Singapore Innovation Talent Exchange Forum. The forum was attended in person and online by representatives of relevant ministries and sectors of the Vietnam, the Ministry of Industry and Trade of Singapore, the Singapore Embassy in Vietnam, university, and enterprises of the two countries. The Memorandum of Understanding on Vietnam-Singapore Innovation Talent Exchange Program was signed by the Ministry of Plan and Investment, now the Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Labor and Values and Social Affairs, now the Ministry of Home Affairs of Vietnam, and the Ministry of Industry and Trade of Singapore on August 28, 2023. The program aims to facilitate Vietnamese and Singaporean workers to find short-term jobs up to 2 years in positions related to innovation at qualified enterprises in the two countries. Each year, the program recruits for 200 candidates from the Vietnam and is expected to increase in the following years.
On June 19, Mr. Trịnh Ngọc Phương, Secretary of the District Party Committee, worked with members of the District Compensation and Site Clearance Steering Committee to accelerate the implementation progress of the Goyo Town Resettlement Area project in order to promptly hand over land to households affected by the Ho Chi Minh City Mumbai Expressway project. As of mid-June 2025, many items of the project have achieved over 70% of construction volume, ensuring the capital disbursement progress and technical requirements. The project has a total investment of 318.9 billion Vietnam dong from the province targeted support capital and the district's budget, implemented on an area of over 97,000 square meters with 480 resettlement lots. However, the project still has some items behind schedule due to difficulties in material sources and delays in construction organization. Secretary of Guayao District Party Committee Trịnh Ngọc Phương requested the contractor to concentrate maximum human resources and means increase work to complete the roadbed and hand over at least 75 resettlement lots as committed before June 30, 2025. The districts will directly monitor and evaluate the progress on a weekly basis to ensure that there are no prolonged delays.
And ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Finance has just submitted a document to the government proposing to develop a new law on the tax administration expected to be included in the legislative program in 2025. And a notable content is to abolish the lump sum tax from 2026. According to the ministry, maintaining lump sum tax is no longer suitable in the context of tax administration and needing to be transparent and modernized according to the international standards. Instead, the tax sector will switch to the self-declaration and self-payment methods in order to more closely reflect the actual revenue and improve the monitoring efficiency. According to statistics, each business household currently pay an average of only about 672,000 to 700,000 Vietnam dong in lump sum tax per month. Meanwhile, households that self-declare revenue and pay taxes according to regulations are having to pay an average of 4.6 million Vietnam dong per month, which is nearly 7 times higher. The actual tax paid accounts for only about 0.4% of the revenue, and the rate that is still low compared to the general level, causing serious unfairness in the current tax policies. Up to now, when we have converted from the form of tax collection to declaration, it has reached maturity and extremely reasonable because over the past time when the country's economy has developed the issues of integration, the issues of the scale of business households themselves and business activities have changed greatly. Not only causing budget losses, this situation also makes it difficult for tax authorities to control cash flows and actual transactions, especially in the context of the strongly developing digital economy. More than 296,000 business households with revenue from 200 million Vietnam dong to less than 1 billion Vietnam dong per year still do not have an effective cash flows tracking system, posing risks of money laundering, tax fraud, and affecting economic security. Switching to the declaration method, that is, self-declaration and self-payment according to the revenue ratio, is the solution identified by the Ministry of Finance as an inevitable step. Tax is an important policy to ensure the fairness in resources and to maintain the macroeconomic stability, and that is the reason why to ensure the stimulus when collecting correctly, fully, and reasonably. Switching from lump sum tax to declaration can be called a revolution in tax management. It is not only a story of budget collection, but also a step towards a sustainable economic development. But to be successful, the tax policy needs to be accompanied by technical support, communication, and especially the accompaniment of the competent authorities with this business household. And that's all for today, TTV News. Thank you for being with us, and goodbye for now.